Welcome to the Collide Kids Podcast, hosted by Christen Clark. This is a show for kids and families. You are going to meet new people and have fun while you listen. Let's do it!
Hey, y'all. Welcome to the Collide Kids Podcast. I'm your host, Christen Clark. The Collide Kids Podcast is a show for kids and families where we learn together how life and faith collide. I am so glad you're listening today. Thank you for being here, especially just a few days away from Christmas. So I don't know if you are listening to this while you're checking out Christmas lights or wrapping presents or whatever you're doing, but I hope you're having some great time spent with your family. If you're a parent and you're listening, I just want to remind you about my other podcast called 7-Minute Devotions for Busy Parents. Definitely go check that out. This December, I released a special 4-part series based on Isaiah 9:6, walking through the names of Jesus and what they mean for our families during the season. It's just short 7-minute episodes that hopefully are very encouraging to you. Perfect for busy parents who want to stay rooted in truth, even when your life feels a little overwhelming. So definitely go check that out. Well, I have a question for you. How is your Christmas shopping going? Because we're only a few days away, and I hope you are completely finished and have everything all wrapped under the tree. But if not, if you're still looking for a few last-minute gift ideas, or maybe even something meaningful to start off the new year, I've got you covered. I put together an Amazon list with some of the best books and resources recommended by my guests that have been on the show this year, like family devotionals and Bibles and really great content for preteens and special needs and picture books and so much more. So you still have a few days left to go grab something from Amazon. The link will be in the show notes today, so be sure to check that out. Well, now for today's episode, we're ending the year with something very special and fun. This is a Christmas-themed conversation that you're absolutely going to love. And I'm joined by my friend, Justin Herman. Justin is the online pastor at Mariners Church in Southern California and the creator and host of the Carpooling with Jesus podcast. He is a husband, a dad of 4 kids, and someone who is very passionate about helping families talk about faith in everyday moments, like even in the car, right? Well, in this episode, we're going to be talking about Jesus, Christmas, family traditions, our favorite Christmas movies. It's going to be so much fun. Thank you so much for listening today. Let's jump into this Christmas conversation and finish the year celebrating Jesus together. Here is my conversation with Justin Herman. Justin Herman, I am so excited to have you on the Collide Kids podcast today.
It's great being on here. Thanks for inviting me. I'm humbled. This is going to be a ton of fun.
Yeah. So I always say that people that listen to podcasts are people that listen to podcasts. So you have a podcast. That's how I found you. And Now you're on my podcast. And so we're just going to share our podcasting experiences on here.
At some point, I'll have to get you to come guest host an episode of my podcast sometime.
I'd love it.
That would be the full circle moment of it all.
I love it. Would you just introduce yourself for our listeners? Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
I'm Justin. I'm the online pastor at a church called Mariners Church in Southern California. I live in Arizona with my family. I'm married. I have 4 kids. They're tremendous. I love them. I like to do marathons and I do jujitsu, and I do my own podcast called Carpooling with Jesus, which is a daily kids devotional podcast. And I love swimming in my pool and making memories and having fun, going on dates with my wife. And we just did the gingerbread houses with my kids. I love doing crafts with them and
Cool.
just doing fun parent kid stuff, especially during Christmas. It's the best time to do it.
Oh, absolutely. It's so fun. And are your kids homeschooled or they go to school?
They go to a private Christian school,
Okay.
which is like, it's one of those things because they know I'm a pastor. So I go and I speak at the school all the time in chapel. I'm the go-to guy if someone cancels, and they book me a ton. So it's hilarious when one of my kids gets in trouble and, it's the pastor's kid who gets in trouble. And I absolutely love that. I love moments like that because there's
cool.
one thing that kids don't care about. It's what their parents do for a living. Kids will be kids in every situation. And that is a good thing. It's probably a very healthy thing, actually.
Yeah, I love that. Yes, especially kids are home for the holidays once they get off Christmas break. and you got to come up with lots of fun stuff to do. So
Yes.
yeah, so you gotta have like plans in place, to keep them not on screens the entire time. That's our goal. That's just our only goal.
We do not want that. We do not want screens.
No.
We want memories. We want outside play. We want drawing and crafts and alpha on the shelf activities and like Christmas movies. We want all of that. If the biggest memory of my kids looking back is what they did on their screens during break, then I failed as a parent.
That's right. That's exactly right. Well, I'm so excited to talk with you today, and I'm so excited this is coming out right before Christmas. So we're gonna have a really great Christmas conversation.
I have my Christmas shirt on.
I love it.
Totally ready.
Your Hawaiian Santa. I love it. That's so great.
Yes. Yeah, I have like 5 of these, by the way. so I totally
well, you live
in
it. Arizona. You need that.
I have a whole section of Hawaiian shirts. I wear Hawaiian shirts 7 days a week. Only when I do very serious meetings do I like put on like a different shirt.
That's amazing.
I like Hawaiian shirts.
That's awesome. Before we get started with your story, because this is a show for kids, I always ask my guests to tell me a joke. So, do you have a joke for us today?
What did Santa like to do in music class?
Ooh.
Work on his rapping.
That's good.
All right, that's off the top of my head. That's the best I got. So
I like it.
I hope you like it.
I do. Hey, I spoke in kids ministry this past Sunday, and one of the kids came up and told me a joke.
What was it?
He said, "Why is Santa so good at karate?"
I have no idea why.
Because he wears a black belt. That's good, right?
That's good. I like that. I mean, that's very real.
So let's talk a little bit about your podcast, because that's, like I said, that's how I found you. It's called Carpooling with Jesus. How did you get started in podcasting, and why did you come up with that name?
I got started in podcasting in probably the year 2014 or 2015. It was a while ago. And I got started doing a junior high ministry podcast. So I used to be the junior high pastor at Mariners, and my wife encouraged me to start a junior high ministry podcast. And so I did it, and I did it for multiple years. And then, then I stopped doing it. I left junior high ministry. I stopped doing it. But I was always kind of in the podcast world in one, some way, shape, or form. I consulted or helped people start podcasts, friends of mine and whatever. When we moved to Arizona, we started taking our kids to a new school. And my wife has an awesome routine, probably like a lot of kids listening. Their mom has an awesome routine for their morning time and breakfast and, brushing your teeth and getting ready for school, the whole thing. Well, they were all going to school, and I said, well, hey, can I jump in the car and go with you? Because I had nothing to do that morning. That was not part of the routine. Dad coming to school was not part of the routine. And she said, well, okay, you can come. But, we listen to some podcasts and we do some affirmations and we pray together, which is obviously all stuff that I love. Mm-hmm. Well, we get in the car and she puts on a podcast that I've never heard of before. It was much older, and it was the only one that she could find that was like a daily podcast. But she's listening to it from a couple of years ago. And I wasn't impressed with it. I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't impressed. It was long, and they were talking about like Roman tax law in the Bible. Like it was very like obscure.
Wow.
And I know it was very obscure, but it was for kids. And I complained about it like any dad would.
Right.
And she's like, well, why don't you start your own? And I thought about it for like 3 months, and I put a lot of work into it. And we launched last January, Carpooling with Jesus, which is a daily short devotional podcast for kids. So every episode ends with a question. The idea of every episode is if Jesus was sitting with you at the breakfast table, we have a lot of homeschool families that listen. If Jesus was sitting with you at the breakfast table or riding with you on the way to school, like what would he say? Like what would be that thing he would give you to help you start your day? And that's the premise of every episode. And we take Bible stories, we take themes like friendship and telling the truth and building trust and integrity. And it's in kid language because our target audience, if I'm being honest, is my kids. My kids are the target audience. And I have a 10-year-old, a 9-year-old, and 2 5-year-olds. So I want it to work for my kids. But what we've found is there's a lot of other kids that listen to it too, which is awesome. And that's how it started. And it's been going great. And there's no end in sight. Carpooling with Jesus. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So it ends with a question so parents can have discussion with their kid. Because I don't want to just listen to something and just say, okay, well, it's over now, whatever. Like I want to be able to say, well, hey, what did you think about that? Like, what did you learn? Like, how does that apply to your day? And so we end every episode with a question so that you can talk about it together in the car before you go off to school.
That's how I started my show too, is like I wanted to find something for my kids. I think a lot of the podcasts that are out there for kids usually are for like much younger kids. So a lot of the stuff I was finding was for preschoolers and things like that. And my kids are older elementary at the time. And so I was like, what's something they would be interested in? And so, so that's what I do my show for my kids. Now they're a little bit older now, so I don't know that they would enjoy it as much.
You still force them to listen to it?
Sometimes I'm like, this is really cool. You got to hear this. This guy's awesome. But yeah. And they do the intro. So if you listen to my show at the very beginning, my kids did the intro, and they did it when they were very young. Now their voices don't sound that young and innocent anymore. And they're like, can we change this? I'm like, no, it's adorable.
So as we did Carpooling with Jesus, we expanded it and we included a nighttime podcast called Goodnight Psalms as well.
Cool.
And which is shorter. It's much shorter. It's like 2 minutes long, maybe sometimes even less. But my kids do the intro and the outro for that one, and they love it. They love hearing their own voices. It's a lot of fun.
What's something that you love about podcasting as your job?
I think a podcast allows you to build community in a unique way. We have an Instagram account, we have a Facebook group. I talk to parents all the time from different parts of the country. I'm able to give shout outs to their kids on the podcast, which is fun. It makes it feel personal. It makes it feel like, man, I'm noticed. And I like that community building aspect of a podcast, that it's not just a thing that you consume. If you're listening to Carpooling with Jesus, and I would say the same thing about Collide, if you're listening to it, you want the best for your kids. Okay, so you're already kind of part of a subgroup of parents that want the best for their kids, but they want the best for their kids in a spiritual context, like in a pursuit of Jesus, of spiritual things, of Christianity context. That's not every single parent on earth, but for the parents who engage with our podcast, they do want that.
Yeah.
So it embeds some automatic community of like-minded parents who want the best for their kids, knowing that the best for their kids is Jesus. So I think seeing that take shape is probably one of the most rewarding, fun parts.
I love that. Yeah, and I'm the same way. I think for me, podcasting has opened the door for me to just meet so many different people like you. I would have never got to meet you, but because I have this show, I get to make friends. Well, I think this is awesome that you have this show, and I hope our listeners will definitely check it out because I think it'd be a great resource. If you're listening to podcasts and you're already in that mode of turning on something weekly or daily, just to have that encouragement, that's what you offer. So
you know what? I will up the ante for you.
Ooh.
If one of your listeners, if any of your listeners, pop over and listen to Carpooling with Jesus and check it out. If they message me on Instagram and say, hey, I started listening because of Collide, I will mail them some limited edition Carpooling with Jesus stickers for their kids. I have a staff of them in my office.
Whoa.
I'd love to mail them. And so if you're listening and you're like, you come check out Carpooling with Jesus because you heard it here, let me know. I'll send you some stickers for your kids.
Free stickers, come on.
There you go. I mean, what kid doesn't like free stickers?
That's
right?
great.
There's always a place to put a free sticker. Come on.
That's exactly right. I love that. That's awesome. So I know Christmas is right around the corner, and so I feel like something serious that we have to talk about is what you believe is the best Christmas movie.
I think Home Alone is the best Christmas movie of all time.
Okay, tell me why.
This is the reason why I believe that.
Okay.
My kids love it, number one. Two, at the core of that movie is family. So whenever the core of the movie is family and family's reconciled at the end, that's a beautiful thing, okay? I love my family. I want my kids to see a movie that puts family on display from the very beginning, and reconciliation within the family, okay? So that's a beautiful, underlying theme. But I'd also say that the pranks are awesome, but uniquely for boys, it gets them thinking creatively. Like they're thinking through is that real? Like, could you really do that? And I'm like, no, you can't. Like that would probably kill the person. But there's pranks that you can pull that are just as creative, that pulleys and rubber bands and different things you can use, not like metal beams and nails. So but it gets them thinking creatively, and I like that. But and also in the end, it's Christmas. Like it's themed around Christmas. There's a little bit of saving Christmas. He's a hero and he's a kid. So like young kids, like they see themselves as like, that would be me. If I was left alone by accident, I would defend the neighborhood. And I like that. I was like that when I was a kid. Well, I mean, I saw that movie when I was a kid. That's how old the movie is. And I totally was that kid. Like I was like, oh, that's me. Mom, if you forgot me, we'd be okay. I'd protect us.
And you would live on macaroni and cheese, right?
100%. And pizza, delivered pizza. Like all those bits, like those are just classic, timeless bits.
Yeah.
I think that's the best Christmas movie ever.
I love it. Okay, so let me tell you this, and now I don't know if you've heard this. I just saw there's like a couple videos circulating that the old man in the movie is actually like a Christ figure. So if you watch the storyline, go back and watch it, because now I'm like, okay, now this is on the internet, so I don't know if it's true or not. But they're talking about how at the beginning, Kevin is nervous, is scared of him, but he ends up being this person that steps in, like when he's about to steal the toothbrush at the store, and the man comes in and he stops him and he connects with him at the church. And there's always a bandage on his hand, like he has a cut on his hand. And then there's something else at the end where like he reconciles with his family. And so I don't know, I saw this video and I was like, wait, what? So they were like talking about how you can kind of see like the picture of like redemption, not only with the family, but also with Jesus. So now you got to go back and watch it.
I'm going to go back and watch. I mean, I'll be watching it a few more times before Christmas is over, trust me. And when I do, I'm going to be thinking about it through that lens. I'm going to be paying attention. I've never heard that, and I'm immediately intrigued by that. I'm very interested.
I know. So what's your family doing for Christmas? What are some Christmas traditions you guys are going to do getting closer to the holiday?
So we've been in Phoenix like 4 years now. So there's locations we go to where they have specific, the light thing that we drive through, or, the Christmas experience thing where we go see Santa, which we just did that, by the way.
Cool.
My kid is like, I don't know what to ask Santa for. He's 9 years old. And I say, just tell him you want a BB gun.
A Red Ryder BB gun.
A Red Ryder BB gun. Okay, good. So you know where this is going.
Yes.
And I'm hoping that this Santa's legit. Okay, I'm hoping this Santa's dialed in. And so Cannon's like, I want a BB gun. And the Santa whips his head. You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Nice. Good
and
job,
I lost it.
Santa.
I totally lost it. I cheered. I was so happy. But so, we go see Santa, and the Grinch was there.
Nice.
We drive around and see Christmas lights. I think that's a really easy, cheap thing to do, right? Like it costs no money at all.
Right.
You get in the car, bring some snacks, drive around neighborhoods, see Christmas lights, the whole thing. A lot of cities have influencers, who will give you like all the places to go in a city, with the lights and whatnot. But you just drive around, you see lights. We do that. We did the tree decorating already, so that's obviously already been done. We did the gingerbread houses yesterday. That's tradition. That's already been done.
Okay.
We do a lot of family stuff. So we're with family. My sister-in-law is in from New York right now, and so we're spending a ton of time with her. We're going to see them in about an hour. We're going to see the new David movie.
Ooh.
David, the cartoon movie. Yep.
Yes,
so we're going to see that.
I can't wait for that.
And so it's like, I wouldn't say going to a movie is a tradition, but doing things as a family. It's like, hey, we're going to do family things. We're going to do together things during this time. Whatever those things may be, we're doing them as a family. So it might not be the same thing we do every year, but every year we do it as a family. So maybe it's seeing a movie, maybe it's doing hot chocolate somewhere, maybe we're going to do, go see some reindeer somewhere or whatever. We're going to do it as a family. So that's
I love that.
That's the underlying tradition of everything.
I love that. I've talked about this on the show before, but when I was growing up, my family would go look at Christmas lights. And if a house was decorated like just crazy, like you could tell they just like threw it together, or it was just a lot of like stuff messed up, or it was just too much, we would give them what we called the tacky toot, which is my dad would honk the horn and we would speed away. And so
that's really funny.
Yeah. So we'd be like, they get the tacky. So we'd have to vote as a family of who got the horn honk. And so I'm sure people are sitting at their homes and they're like, murmur, and then there's a car like speeding off. It was my family. We were just judging you and your light decorating skills. So
that's hilarious. I'm sure one of those houses, there was a kid thinking, I think they're going to break in. I better start setting pranks.
That's right.
I better start setting devices now. That was a hint.
That's right. He's up there pulling the pulley,
Exactly.
The painter thing on the pulley. Well, Justin, this has been so fun. Thank you so much for being on the show today. Tell our listeners where they can find out more about you and where they can get their stickers.
Yes, well, they can go check out Carpooling with Jesus on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. Really, it's anywhere that you listen to podcasts, but those mainly are the two big ones. Instagram at Carpooling with Jesus, and check out the show. Send me a message on Instagram at Carpooling with Jesus. Let me know you heard about the show on the podcast. I'll send you some stickers. It'll be great.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for doing that. I love it.
Absolutely. And you need to send me a message too. I will send you some stickers and you can put them on your coffee mug or your water bottle or the wall or something, or do whatever you want.
I love it. I'll do it. I love stickers. Well, before I let you go, I always like to ask my guests to share a memory from when they were a kid. So can you tell me a memory from your childhood?
I'm going to make it a Christmas memory, sticking with the theme. When I was 10 years old, my mom took us to a soup kitchen to serve the homeless. I had never been around the homeless. I maybe have seen them as I've been driving by. Mm-hmm. I never had a single conversation with a homeless person in my entire life as a 10-year-old boy. And she took us to go serve the homeless at a soup kitchen where I met kids my own age that were homeless. Wow. I met a bunch of other adults that were Bills fans. I grew up in Buffalo, by the way. Mm-hmm. So they were Bills fans. They were great. They were kind. That one thing shaped more of my thinking around people and around, now as an adult around ministry. Mm-hmm. That planted seeds that grew into big, beautiful trees of faith, trees of ministry, trees of care for others. I think a part of my selfishness died that day. And I think that was my mom's hope, and she got her way. I mean, I think I started looking at myself and what I had differently. It was a really big time. I think yes, there are people who are homeless who have very little, but being around them, there was a lot of joy in the people that I was serving. There's a lot of joy in the relationships they had with one another. And that's the thing that stuck with me, that even though they had very little, like they might have been poor financially, mm-hmm. but they were rich in relationship with each other. Yeah. And I didn't have those words when I was 10 years old. Like I only, as an adult, as you process it, can you really, know what you experienced. But they may have been poor financially, but they were rich in relationships. I looked at myself like who had a lot of stuff, but I was poor in relationships. Like, that was actually during a time where I was moving schools and I was making new friends, and I was having a really terrible time making new friends, actually. So like, it was a pivotal time for me. And I thank my mom for doing it. She's passed away. She's with Jesus now. But man, I'm so thankful to her for taking me on that adventure and teaching me that. That is the biggest memory from my childhood that I have around Christmas.
That's beautiful. I love that. And I love that your mom did that for you at a young age. Because I think a lot of times we think like, oh, my kids aren't old enough for that. But your kids can serve, they can help, they can contribute. So that's awesome that you got to do that.
I think that's why God gave us the responsibility of raising kids to parents. Mm-hmm. So there's a boldness there. Yeah, push the envelope, to let them experience things. You want more on the ledger of things that your kids experience for the first time to be with you than to be with anyone else. Like I want the first conversations about certain topics to happen with mom and dad. I want the first time experiencing certain things to be with mom and dad. Like I think there's safety with mom and dad. Sure. I think there's safety of conversation with mom and dad. So the more parents, and so maybe this is just like a shout out to parents, through the teaching of my mom, the more you can have those first experiences with your kid, the better. Like and just have them. And there's no wrong about it. And you just figure it out as you go for it. Yeah. Great advice. Well, thank you, Justin, so much for being on the show today. This was great. It was wonderful. Thank you for having me. Yeah. Merry Christmas. Wow. What a beautiful memory he shared about his mom taking him to serve the homeless when he was 10. I think it's just things like this that make such a huge impact on families, and especially your kids. They're going to remember stuff like that. I hope you and your family will find ways to serve and help others
this year, even if it's just helping a neighbor move their trash can or deliver cookies to someone or donating extra shoes and coats to a local ministry. There's lots of ways for your family to help serve others. I love that Justin has created his Carpooling with Jesus show for his own family, and so many people have listened and benefited from it. And what great encouragement he said, if you're listening to podcast content like Carpooling with Jesus or the Collide Kids podcast, you're doing great things for your family because you're providing your kids with resources where they're going to be growing in their faith and they're learning more about other people and about the Bible. So keep up the good work listening to podcasts. Hey, if you would like to get some of those stickers he talked about, you need to follow Carpooling with Jesus on Instagram and message him. Let him know that you listened to today's episode and you want some of those free stickers. I think that's such a generous gift. So definitely take advantage of that. You can also follow and subscribe to his podcast, Carpooling with Jesus, on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. So be sure to listen to that and send him some encouragement. All right, now it's time for one of my favorite parts of the show. It's our family discussion time. So this is where I'm going to ask just a few fun, thoughtful questions for you to help keep the conversation going. So you can pause between each question, talk about it now, or listen to all of them and pick which one you like best or chat about them later, whatever works best for you and your family. So let's talk about it. Here's the first one. Let's talk about our favorites. What is your favorite color? What is your favorite Christmas movie? What is your favorite Christmas treat or candy? Or if you want to, quiz each other and see if you already know the answers of your family members. I think that would be a fun game. Here's the next question. What is one Christmas tradition your family loves to do? Maybe you've already done it, or maybe there's still time and you want to make sure you get it in before Christmas Day. And here's the third one. What is one way that your family can serve or volunteer this month? Well, I hope you guys came up with some really good ideas and it sparked some great conversations with your family. As we wrap up this last episode of the year, I just want to say thank you so much for listening and being a part of the Collide Kids podcast in 2025. We're going to be taking a little bit of time off for the Christmas season and getting back in swing of things in January. So if you miss us over the break, make sure to go back and listen to some past episodes that you might have missed and be on the lookout for brand new episodes coming in January. You're not going to want to miss these episodes. I've got some amazing guests coming up. It's really cool. You can follow along on social media at Collide Kids Pod on Facebook. And don't forget to check out that Amazon link that's in the show notes for some great books and resources. Listen, I am so grateful for you and your support and your listening, your prayers, all the things that you've done to share this episode with other people. Thank you so, so much. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I will see you next year. And in case no one has told you today, I would love to be the first to remind you that God loves you so much. Merry Christmas. You know, raising kids in the digital age isn't easy, but Bark Technology makes products that help parents keep their kids safe online and in real life. They have an app, a phone, and a home device that lets families set parental controls on their internet-connected devices. I love the app because it helps us manage screen time and blocks websites and apps we want our kids to avoid. It also sends alerts and gives us the ability to monitor texts and social media and even track your child's location. Visit bark.us to learn more about how you can keep your kids safe online. Use the code COLLIDEKIDS to get 15% off your subscription of the Bark app.